The final weekend of the Three-Digit World Cup 2026 is upon us. We have this match starting off with Hong Kong versus South Korea, seed number 2 at seed versus seed number 6. This is losers bracket grand finals. The winner of this match will face the United States coming forward in the winners bracket, who are waiting for them. And with this matchup, Hong Kong, they have been doing stellar so far. They had their match against the United States last weekend without Misha Ava being present, by the way, and turned out really, really well. While South Korea, they did lose to France in round of 16, and they had a stellar losers bracket run as well. But with that being said, I'm Lightin, and joined with me is going to be Subaru Arima.
Hello, thank you for this beautiful intro, and as you put it, it's a very, very high stakes match. The winner gets back to top 2 to challenge that top USA team this year, and the loser gets 3rd place. So interesting to note, this is it's actually the exact same podium as we got in 2023, not in the same order, as USA got 3rd in that year and they're guaranteed top 2 this time. But those 3 teams being consistently top challengers in 3WC, making once again their return into the last weekend of the tournament. And Hong Kong, you did mention they did lose 7-2 that winners finals against USA, but they basically only had 3 players for that match playing all the maps, that being Max Brio, F2X, and A21, and still got 2 points off of that USA team, which frankly looks quite unstoppable. And that begs the question of how well they'll do today, with Misha Awa being one of their key players for this tournament. So I'm pretty excited to see that. Also, both teams have pretty similar profiles, sharing a similar kind of weakness on high skill cap tapping mechanics, and both being pretty good at hidden, both being pretty good at techie ulti stuff. And also to be noted, both maps that Hong Kong won last week against USA, they top scored. So that is very scary, considering they only had 3 players. And on the side of South Korea, you're definitely going to be looking at Alagrisimo, Amamiya Kokoro, the key players for South Korea this year. So yeah, hopefully a very, very close hype match.
A very close hype match is indeed might be ahead of us. It all depends on how well Misha Ava is feeling right now, and whether Max Brio will maintain that top-notch form that they have shown in their previous match against the United States. Max Brio has been just fantastic in all these maps, being a key cornerstone of Hong Kong. Taking 2 points without him would have been impossible, and he has done such a magnificent work when it comes to both the HR1 last weekend and a few other maps too. Getting that #1 match cost, by the way, which is crazy because Max Brio so far relatively unheard of in some instances. All of the eyes when it comes to the Hong Kong roster were on Misha Ava. But Max Biro has proven himself to be quite a formidable opponent, and with that, we already have a few bans and picks coming in, Subaru.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on Max, is that he actually, in the prediction stream, if you remember, was one of the least mentioned players when we talked about Hong Kong, and so far has been really their top performer, even besting Misha Awa, who we had kind of blazed as the key player for Hong Kong this year, showing that Misha Awa is not alone this year. As you did mention, that top match cost against USA is more than impressive when you have a team with players like Decaton, Pez, Taquito. You just gotta applaud that performance from last week from Max Brio. And as we do see the bans come in, we do see a hidden 3 ban from Hong Kong, DT3 ban from South Korea, and Nomad 5 ban for Hong Kong. So it looks like the gimmicky maps are not to the taste of Hong Kong this week against the South Korean team that is quite frankly a powerhouse on that skill set. Also, I kind of have a question mark for Hard Rock, because Hong Kong did perform quite decently on Hard Rock despite lacking players, but South Korea also has Alagrisimo, and we didn't mention him, but Petit also had a really good week last week on Hard Rock maps. Could be dangerous.
That is fair, but I feel like if anything, Hard Rock is probably going to be the skill set of the overall mod that Hong Kong will pick for themselves. If you take the qualifier results, for example, obviously granted that the qualifiers had different skill sets in their Hard Rock slots, and that the pool was a lot easier. Just to remind you, this pool is extremely hard. The Nomad 1 SR, for instance, is 8.8 stars, with the Nomad 2 with 8.6, and it looks like with the bans and picks being settled, South Korea decided to remove all of the mechanics out of the table, excluding Nomad 2, while Hong Kong decided to remove low AR maps, and with that, we are going to be moving into a sort of a low AR map. Depends on whether you play this with Hidden or not. Go for it, Helicon by AN3, a 4WC map, which is going to be your anti-mod pick with old mapping.
Yeah, the anti-mod definitely a solid pick for South Korea to open this match. And we did mention the overlap on some skill sets between these two teams. And also, you did mention that Noma 2 still being open. I sincerely doubt any of these two teams is going to want to pick this map, because you definitely don't want to play 270 BPM death streams for 4 minutes if you're either Hong Kong or South Korea.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this map was just insanely hard, man. Like, the scaling was kind of crazy. We were discussing it right before the match started. Nomad 1 gaining a full star between last pool and this one, so kind of went crazy.
Indeed, it does kind of go crazy, but oh well. With that being said, it looks like the players will slowly joining into the lobby. We have Max Baron 821 on the side of Hong Kong, probably going to be joined by Misha Ava relatively soon. We haven't seen him last weekend, but he has been on the rise for quite a while, for just about maybe over a year, if not, showing up really well in their OWC showing back in the group stage. Yes, Hong Kong got seed number 40 back in OWC, but looking at this team so far, I am excited to see how Hong Kong will fare in the OSA World Cup, which is going to be in about probably, well, there's still quite a lot of time until OWC, but still really excited how the players will perform in that tournament and whether the roster will remain the same. But that being said, on the side of South Korea, you have Amamiya Kokoro, Allegriso, and Shipori. And with that, we are going to be starting off with this Fremont 2.
Yeah, as you did mention, Misha being back is really comforting for Hong Kong in this match. They're going to need all the powerhouse they can get. Face that South Korean team who has not missed the top 1 since 2022 in this tournament. So South Korea once again managing to make it all the way back to the podium, despite losing some of their strongest players in that rank range. It's going to be such an interesting match starting on that 3-mod-3, and we're going to see the overmod actually from Hong Kong. No overmod from South Korea, but it is a hidden hard rock from Misha Awa. And as you did mention, Misha over the past 2 years maybe has made more than an appearance on those hidden skill sets, those aim control skill sets, and those anti-mod skill sets. So the overmod does make sense. We also see the easy coming from Max Brio, so mod advantage to Hong Kong in this first map, as we do see the early miss from Allegrisimo. Not going to matter too much, however.
That's true. But yeah, the easy on Max Bro. Just to remind you, the modifier, the easy modifier, this is going to be 1.7, so all eyes are going to be on him. F2X and Shipori do find their respective misses. Allegrisimo missed earlier, so a little bit of a combo advantage on the side of Hong Kong so far as we move on to another intermediate section.
Combo's about even. It's just a slight advantage for Hong Kong, those two FCs, but it's basically even as those traded misses from Tripori and F2X. Basically identical. Not anymore, though, with Amamiya Kokoro dropping the hidden. It's now 2 FCs to almost 1, but it's going to be traded by Misha. So once again, it's Max against Allegrisimo on the big combos here. And double miss for Hong Kong is going to give it back to South Korea as we hit
this
halfway
is really
point.
Bad.
Yeah,
indeed, we hit the halfway point, but Shipori finds a miss, though. That's gonna sting them in the long run as well. Yeah, but Hong Kong still continues to hold on to the combo. All that combos on Max Bureau's side. That one player that has shown the brightest in the match against the United States will be shining once more as the fate of his team rests on him on this Fremont 3. But Allegrisimo, he is back in, but he finds a miss, though. Oh no, this is a disaster here. Hong Kong, Max Bureau continues to hold on to the combo, and he goes forward towards the left, running away basically. As long as Max Bureau holds, Hong Kong should be looking good, but he does find a miss on the aim control sections. 50,000 score difference and counting, but it still goes a little more towards the left as Misha Alva has the recovery.
Still anyone's game. It's only 65,000 points separating these two teams as we hit the final quarter. Misha is going to be dropping. It's a bit of a combo advantage for South Korea now with Allegrisimo recovering, but Shipori and Amamiya Kokoro need to find more combo as well. Max Brio of F2X still holding off South Korea not for long. Misha Awa, F2X double miss for Hong Kong. In the later stages of this map, it's going to be Allegrisimo leading the charge now. Shibori's going to find a miss. It's only 10k difference and shrinking. Lighting, this is going to be so close on the first map.
It's going to be close. It's going to be so close. It does go towards the right. Max Bro finds a miss, though. But Allegrisimo, Kokoro just Allegrisimo to hold on to the combo. It goes on towards the right. 12,000 difference. It might flip if Allegrisimo misses, but the map is just brutal. He does find a miss, though. The map is still there. 16,000 chain misses could be the determining factor, but it looks like
it
was so close. 2,000. Will it shift? Oh my god, it's
I think
shifted
it's
towards
shifting the
Hong
mod
Kong's
advantage.
side. Are you kidding me? Hong Kong with a breakpoint already.
The mod advantage with the full combo reset right at the end, doing it for Hong Kong in this final pattern. Opening breakpoint. Wait, why does it say South Korea? Why does it say
Huh?
South Korea?
I
The
think it
point.
might not count the easy multiplier because easy
Yeah, I
multiplier
think it.
is on the Hong Kong side. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the multiplier was forgotten. It is a point for Hong Kong, but barely won off the performance, the easy performance of Max Barrio, matching the no-mod performance from Alegrissimo, the two key players respectively for their teams, battling it out on the longest holding combos in this map. Man,
Wow.
if that map, I mean, if you weren't convinced that this match was going to be insanely close and disputed, this first map definitely shows what we're talking about here. We're talking about two of the three top teams remaining in this tournament, facing for a spot in those grand finals against USA. What better way to start it? Also, it's to be noted in the pick'ems, it's basically 50-50 between these two teams, and I definitely think this map represents just that. What a close show for this.
What a great
opening.
Yeah, exactly. What a great opener to this match. Fremont Free not going according to plan for South Korea. This was their first pick, which came in relatively fast as well. So definitely the momentum already shifted towards the side of Hong Kong, but that was still a pretty strong showing. If anything, if they held on, if the cheat misses were not so ridiculous for the side of South Korea, then maybe this would have stayed, the score difference would have stayed on their side, and this could have been a pretty good first point to start off the match with. But nonetheless, Hong Kong with their own pick coming forward, and looking at how they have been doing throughout their matches, what do you think is going to be the pick here? Because I'm leaning more towards probably HR1.
Yeah, HR1 does seem to be a solid pick. I mean, it is radically different from the HR1 we had last week, which is more on the flow aim stream skill set. But HR, generally speaking, as you did put it in the intro, should be a favorable skill set for Hong Kong. They did top score the HR1 last week with only 3 players. So that says a lot about what they're capable on this mod. With that said, every single map is so difficult. There are no safe picks in this match, and it's going to be hidden one to start it. And you know, I don't dislike this pick. You have Max, your strongest player, and you have Misha Awa coming back for this match, the hidden specialist on this team. So if both players are feeling really good in the starter of this match, this might actually be a pretty solid first pick for Hong Kong.
Indeed, but the map is just so volatile. The overall aim control requirement that you need on top of the awkward aim, and all of that being OT8 with some really awkward 1-4 doubles. It's just a ridiculous map, which is so hard to hold combo on this map as well. Lisa Adamas, Holo Wings, the mapper name speaks for itself when you look at this map. So gimmicky, so interesting, so movement built too. And with that, I am not really sure. I don't think I reciprocate the feelings when it comes to whether I like this pick or not, because this is, if anything, I think this might be a bit more of a coin flip given the structure of the map. But that being said, this is not a bad pick either. Max Burrow and Misha Ava will be the key players for the side of Hong Kong, but for South Korea, once again, all eyes are going to be on Amamiya Kaku and Alegrissimo.
I mean, I gotta say, this might turn out to be a third player battle between these two teams, because you know Amamiya and Alegrissimo are solid on this. But you know Sherbet is also a pretty good hidden specialist, but can he hit that kind of skill cap comfortably enough compared to the third player on the side of Hong Kong, which obviously is probably going to be A21 for this one, you gotta think. The higher skill cap has been shown over the past years from A21. But I do agree with the coin flip notion of this pick. It is kind of dangerous to start your match with this, but they gotta feel pretty comfortable. You gotta think, if they're opening the match with this one, this map is so hard. There are basically no comfort zones in this match for any picks whatsoever, and that Fremont 3 opener was just a good example of that.
Yeah, the pool is just that difficult. You can't really be sure how well you're going to do it. It all comes down to sometimes the individual pop-off performances like we've seen on that Fremont Free, with both Max Burrow and Alegrissimo being the cornerstones of their team's score. But with that, Hidden One starts off 3 minutes and 38 seconds long, so going to be a little more on the lengthier side of the map pool. But with that said, already a few misses coming in. Max Burrow in 2-1 and Alegrissimo with the early misses. Nothing too crazy so far, but you can already see the control requirement, the back and, not the back and forth, but those doubles that are just so uncomfortable to hit. And so far, with the intro gone, South Korea do have a slight advantage, but Amamiya Kokoro finds a miss on the doubles.
It's an awkward aim pick with the skill gap of a late stage no mod 1. Like, there is no forgiving on any of these patterns, and we are going to find that miss from Amamiya Kokoro. So, very slight combo advantage on those recoveries to Hong Kong, and Misha still holding on to the FC, matching sure, but the accuracy is looking a little bit better for South Korea with that said. In this intro, Amamiya is going to be finding another miss, giving it back over to Hong Kong, but it's still very early in the map. Anything can happen. Only one FC left per team.
Yeah, I don't think those FCs will be holding for long though. But here comes the first guy. The aim requirement does go up a little higher. Not as controlly, not as double tappable, but those bursts, those doubles are just so volatile. Sure, but finds him as Allegrisimo as well. 821 to trade, but Misha Ava to hold on through this Ki so far, as well as Max Piro. This duo is just so good already. I'm really excited how they will perform throughout the rest of the match. Misha Ava finds a miss though, but who else than Max Piro to hold on to the combo? This man is on fire.
Yeah, that duo is so scary on this map for Hong Kong. Misha over 200k already. Max Birio a bit short of 200k, is going to reach it right about now, and it's only Amamiya on the side of South Korea with anything, but just a little bit over half the combo of Max Birio. Unfortunately, the other players in South Korea are struggling a little bit. Sherbet did have a decent combo in the opener, but Allegrisimo has been finding repeated misses, and repeated slider breaks as well. The accuracy is also caught up on the side of Hong Kong, so it's basically all Hong Kong every day now, and only Amamiya to fight what Max Brio is doing right now. Which, can we talk about an 800 combo, really?
Yeah, it's an insane combo on the map of this calendar, but still, the second guy is there. Still a lot more doubles to hit Amamiya Kokoro. If it was not for those misses on the slower sections, then this could have been a whole different story so far. Finds a miss, though. It's just Max Pro to hold on to the FC still. 1/3 of the map remaining, and it's not even close. Nobody to contest him other than his teammates, Misha Ava and 821, with 400 combos each, while Max Pro continues to hold on to the FC 200,000 score difference. We were pretty skeptical about this pick, but looking at this now, Max Burial, can somebody stop this man already?
The 50s, but he still hits it. Oh my god, everyone on Hong Kong hit that pattern. And yeah, who said this was coin flippy?
I think that was me.
It looks like we were wrong, because what Hong Kong is doing to that map is borderline illegal right now. Even Misha and 821 above 600 combo in that section, and Max still holding on that recovery. Finally misses on that jump, but 560k already for Max Brio, and still the recoveries from Misha Awa on 821. What a masterclass first pick from Hong Kong to start this match, and you gotta think that's gonna be a pretty good confidence booster, because what a performance on this hidden one this has been.
Indeed, it's such a good showing from Max Burl. You gotta give some shout-outs to his teammates, though. Misha Ava will maybe get a higher score. No, he will find a miss on the doubles. Everybody, except for Allegrisimo and Max Burl, were setting on those bursts. But with that, the map will slowly come to the conclusion. Allegrisimo finds a miss, but will not matter, as Hong Kong has a 500,000 score difference. Maybe a little over with a few of those misses, but still such a ridiculous score from both Max Burl and Misha Ava. What a performance on this hidden one. As you've said, this is a masterclass.
What a beautiful scoreline. I mean, this was never close after the first quarter, basically. And a small shout out to Allegrisimo for getting that decent recovery in the last section. But like the highest score in South Korea is lower than the lowest score on Hong Kong. Even A21 besting Allegrisimo. Yeah, this was such a solid first pick, and you love to see it in such a difficult map pool, to see that teams can still find their footing on some of these maps. And now South Korea already down 2-0, going to be trying to find a solution on their next pick, because they don't want this to snowball into a bigger advantage. You can't lose that next pick and give a 3-0, potential 4-0 lead to Hong Kong early on in this match. But Hong Kong, man, after the close finish on Fremont 3, really getting started pretty well with that hidden one.
Yep. And when you think about it, when you're South Korea, what map would you go for? You might want to start off with possibly Hidden 2, go a bit into that control, but given how well Hidden 1 went for the side of Hong Kong, and the overall hidden comfort that both Misha and Max Bro have, I'm pretty skeptical about that. You might want to continue with the Fremont strategy. Potentially, you might want to go Fremont 1, potentially Fremont 4, Fremont 1 being an awkward A map, but not as volatile when it comes to the doubles that we've seen so far, that I don't imagine a lot of players did try to double tap and try to hold on to their combos, as we have seen a lot of 50s and 100s being dropped in some cases. But with that being said, South Korea still thinking on their pick, and honestly, I am not even sure what they can pick, Subaru.
Yeah, I mean, Ain might not be as coin flippy as we thought in that match with Hong Kong looking so comfortable. It's going to be Hard Rock 3, so actually South Korea going to be opening the Hard Rock bottle in this match. Not necessarily what we were expecting. We were talking about it in the intro, but Hong Kong on Hard Rock is quite scary this year.
Indeed.
However, if there was one of the 3 Hard Rocks on this map pool to pick against Hong Kong, I would have to agree Hard Rock 3 looks like the better solution for South Korea. You have Petit had that really insane weekend on Hard Rock last week. But would it be on Hard Rock and Fremont as well? And you can't go wrong with Amamiya Algrissimo, surely.
You cannot go wrong in that, and shout outs to the map as well. This is a free WC original, map by Decor, and the song by New Mortal Enemy. This is going to be your 7.2 precision pick, but hold on, this is not the only thing that defines this map, because this map is quite mechanics heavy. It's 195 ppm, if I'm not mistaken. So with that, you kind of have to go through the map with tapping on top of precision, and then also just in very crazy mech tech patterns in some instances. So a pie, basically a cake when it comes to skill sets, which I think on paper should be good for South Korea, but Hong Kong, they can still play that quite well.
Yeah, I think Hong Kong is definitely not weaponless on a map like that. I would, on paper, give a slight advantage to Hong Kong, actually, on that kind of skill set. So I don't think it's a safe pick by any means for South Korea, but you got to try different things. Like, you got crushed on hidden aim, and the anti-mod pick barely didn't work. So if you want to aim more towards that precision skill set, perhaps that's a good solution. We're going to see the same lineup we saw in that Fremont 3 coming from South Korea. Amamiya, Algrissimo, Chipori, it looks like. So no Petit for this one. That's interesting.
Might be skill cap, might be the factor that you have to tap in this map, which might be off-putting for quite a lot of players when it comes to precision. So definitely maybe not suiting it. The sub-skill set's not suiting that player. But with that being said, the good luck of funds are now in the chat, and we are going to be moving on to this HR free once again, a free WC original by New Mortal Enemy, the map by Decor, and I am excited to see how well South Korea will perform, because this is honestly a pretty important point for them to take, because otherwise, as you said prior, Hong Kong will get the third point and maybe run away with the fourth, so this is pretty detrimental. You might want to stop that machine while it is possible.
Yeah, also noting F2X making his entry for this one, and that's also quite scary supporting player to back up Max Barrio and Misha Awa for this one. Strong on the Hard Rocks. Notorious for that the past few years for Hong Kong. Would it be in this rank range or just OC World Cup in general? It is going to be the early AC advantage for South Korea out this intro. Max Barrio and F2X struggling a little bit on the accuracy in this intro, and here we're getting started with the first real difficult patterns. So far, it's looking pretty good for South Korea. Hong Kong also holding on the combos. It's just the accuracy right now making the difference. Misha's going to be first blood in this map, dropping the combo. 350 combo in. F2X to follow. And you gotta think that's starting to look good for South Korea.
It does look good, but it can all change at the snap of a finger. Still a free FC versus one. Just Max Bro to hold the fort, as the free FCs are still holding for South Korea. Algrissimo, Chipori, and Amamiya Cocker are looking good, especially Algrissimo and Amamiya Cocker in that 98.3% accuracy, with Amamiya covering about 98, and with that, still they continue to hold on to their combos. The map is basically halfway done, but Amamiya Cocker will find a miss traded by Misha Ava. So still 2 FCs versus 1. F2X on the recovery for the side of Hong Kong, but the combo advantage is still dead set on the side of South Korea, as long as Algrissimo and Chipori continue to hold on to their combos.
2X and Chipori is traded. It's just a battle of FCs, and it's lost by Algrissimo. Wait a minute. Oh,
my God.
Drops. It's a full combo reset in the lobby, and you gotta think that favors South Korea. 200k difference, and climbing with the accuracy advantage. I think South Korea basically job done for them as long as they don't find any massive chain miss.
Indeed, 240,000 difference. It might be impossible to try and come back into this. A lot of misses coming left, right, and center. No combos to be found aside from Algrissimo and Chipori, who managed to hold on through this massacre so far, continuing to build the combo with still a quarter of a map left. But nonetheless, I think the conclusion of this map is already evident. Chipori finds a miss. Algrissimo to hold on. Still a quarter. still doing so good. Finds a miss finally, but the difference is just massive, and I don't think Hong Kong will be able to come back from this big of a difference. A very well scouted pick from the side of South Korea, all things considered. And with that, the map will continue to absolutely decimate everyone as no combos are found at all.
Love to see it from South Korea, though. They got destroyed on that hidden one and striking right back with a similar score difference on that Hard Rock 3. Great scoreline from South Korea. And also, Chipori is actually so good at this. Like, I mentioned Petit being the Hard Rock specialist, but Chipori on those Hard Rock streams really holding combo like a champ. Does not have the highest accuracy in the lobby, but second highest score so far. Besting anyone on the side of Hong Kong. Actually, similarly to the hidden one, this time on the other side of the screen is going to be the lowest score on South Korea being higher than the highest score on Hong Kong. What an amazing pick.
Yep. Very well scouted on the side of South Korea, with Allegrisimo getting 477,000 on this HR for you, which is a ridiculously difficult map. So really good scores on the side of South Korea, and Max Burrow doing their best to hold on to as big of a combo as possible. That combo was really good, but the accuracy did die towards the very end. But nothing too crazy so far, but it's going to be Hong Kong's turn to pick, and with that, the momentum stopped. For a little bit, South Korea did find a point, but Hong Kong are still looking to retain the advantage, as they will probably go into either HR1 or maybe something else. What do you think, Subaru?
I mean, you look at those accuracies on the HR for South Korea, you got to think HR might actually not be as Hong Kong favored as we pictured it to be. So I definitely think aim is the way to go. Like, if one of those HR is going to be picked by Hong Kong, you got to think it's HR1, right? But there's also that Nomad 1 lurking in the background. So I don't know. The aim route looks pretty solid for Hong Kong. But as you did mention, bleeding is temporarily stopped on the side of South Korea. They finally get on the board. They still have that one breakpoint deficit. Looking to be finding the solution on Hong Kong's next pick. And like I said, this dynamic is so hard to predict because both teams are really good at very similar things. Like, you got the aim advantage for Hong Kong, right? But then who's going to pick tech? Who's going to pick alt? And nobody's going to pick tapping, obviously. Like, it's really hard to call. You also potentially have that DT4 open for Hong Kong. They were solid on it while lacking Misha Awa, so you gotta think that's a potential pick for Hong Kong as well. And the free mod is also really hard to call.
Indeed.
Yeah, my best guess would be on aim right now, but no, it's gonna be free mod 2 actually on the side of Hong Kong.
Honestly, I don't dislike this pick. Sorry. This is a CS 2.4 local hero map, which has a lot of control involved. A very difficult map, but as we've seen prior, the closest map to this skill set wise is Hidden 1. And we've seen how good Hong Kong was on that hidden one. Both Max Burrow, both Misha Ava, they've shown such a grand performance on that hidden one. And I feel like they might be looking forward to continue telling that tale with those control picks. And Fremont 2 is probably going to be the closest one, with potential for some overmods as well. I would not be surprised to see Misha with potentially hidden Hard Rock.
Oh, that would be such a Chad move. I mean, Misha at least hidden for sure. You got to think on that kind of map. Has really placed himself as one of the strongest control players in the world this past year. On the side of South Korea, I think you just go with the safe route of Amamiya hidden and probably Allegrisimo Hard Rock for this one.
Probably.
We've seen South Korea go Allegrisimo Nomad and Petit Hard Rock on some of those free mods in this tournament, but for this one, I'm not too sure. It's hard to call.
It is hard to call because with high CS, yes, you are a little more confident with that Hard Rock, but all things considered, it still does kill the core mechanic of the map, which is high CS, which is optimized for that high CS mapping. High CS mapping is, like, in general, very, very different from your regular mapping. So, honestly, putting Hard Rock in would make this map as... It may seem like it might not be as difficult, but it's still going to be very, very difficult with Hard Rock, all things considered. So, with that being said, the players are ready on both sides. 821 Max Pro, Misha Ava on the side of Hong Kong, Emily Kokoro, Petit, and Allegrisimo for South Korea. And good luck of funds in the chat. We are ready to redraw the colorless world.
Yeah, this time it is not going to be Chipori, it is going to be Petit. You got to think that Hard Rock is going to be for him. Yeah, there it is, has illustrated himself as a hard rock specialist for South Korea on some of those free mods in this tournament. It is going to be Allegrissimo no mod to face off A21, so Max Brio taking the mod for this one. So not the same route taken for both teams. South Korea preferring to have their arguably strongest player in this tournament this year on the no mod. Interesting to note. But it is going to be even on the mods this time, no mod advantage.
Yep, pretty much. But honestly, given how difficult this map is, how control heavy this is, and already you can see a few misses coming in from the side of South Korea, Kakuro, Allegrissimo, and Petit all missing at that intro. Not the best intro, but still, the map is just starting with Petit. Another miss. The accuracy is not looking good at all, while Hong Kong continues to hold on to their combos. The Ki starts off. The control is still there. 40,000 score difference already on Kakuro and Allegrissimo, finding the misses yet again. No combos to be found in the south of South Korea, but Hong Kong finally somebody finds a miss. It's going to be A21, but Misha, Ava, and Max Buro once again, that duo from Apocalypse, basically the nightmares of South Korea, continuing to hold on to their combos. No combos once again in South Korea. It's just Max and Misha to hold.
That duo on their picks so far has looked so strong, and even A21 is replicating the best performances on the side of South Korea, once again reminiscent of the performance we've seen on that Hidden One. Still 2 FCs halfway through, the 2 modded players for Hong Kong just not wanting to miss on this one, and it's kind of looking already over. This is a very short map, and those 2 combos, man, like Misha Max just going off, and the slower section just showing it, and Petit not having it at all on the hard rock on the side of South Korea, but really nobody having it. It's a bit of a recovery started from Amamiya and Allegrissimo, but what can you do against 2 FCs in a recovery, really?
Indeed. The recoveries are there, but as long as Max and Misha hold on to their combos, this is basically an uphill battle. 400,000 score difference, hovering about 500,000 as they are getting more and more build up coming in. Can Max Buro and Misha Ava continue to hold on through the Ki? Can they show what they're capable of on this control? And so far, they are the ones holding. They are the ones running the story. God. They are the ones to draw this colorless world so far. Misha finds a miss, but Max Buro to hold. Can he finish this map up with an FC off his own? No, he will not. Finds a miss at the very end, but they have done enough. Max Buro and Misha Ava, this is such a great showing from both of these players, as Hong Kong will be taking the 3rd point for themselves.
Man, that scoreline is outrageous, getting more than double the total score on the side of South Korea. What a performance. Like, I think if Hong Kong are to win this match today, USA know what to ban tomorrow, because what is that performance from Hong Kong? And you love to see it, the B ranks coming from Hong Kong, but oh my god, like, look at the difference on the hard rock scores. Max Brio, what the heck was that?
Oh my god. That was such a good showing from Max and Misha, especially Max as well, hitting this map with hard rock and then also going through the ridiculous diff spiky patterns, insane patterns, by the way, that I don't think anyone held on. Both teams, all players, everybody was missing there. So,
like, Max alone was 100k short from 1v3ing on this map. And it's going to be, it's going to be Nomad 1 from South Korea right away, instant pick. And so this is very different in terms of mapping from Hidden One, obviously, but it's still skill cap aim. So I don't know how to feel about this. What are your thoughts on this pick, Lightin?
I think this is a skill cap check, all things considered. Might also be the map. Well, first of all, the map is aim slop. It's basically aim slop. It was vetoed last year. Was going for ranked. It's an 8.78 SR map with 260 BPM with insanely comfortable vertical 1-2 jumps scattered throughout the entire map. So honestly, in a tournament format, I am not really sure how well all these players will perform. All things considered, I think the only idea I have when it comes to this map, the higher rank is probably the more comfortable you will be on this, most likely, but I don't know whether this applies to this. But yeah,
I'd have to agree. I mean, the best aim player in both teams is hard to call. Allegrissimo is really good on aim, but then again, it's more very comfortable on consistency aim than necessarily skill cap aim. So I don't know about this, but South Korea picking this, obviously they must be feeling confident on the skill cap check. You look at that, A21 a few years back was notorious for his high skill cap. Max Brio has been playing insanely well. and Misha Awa still looking very, very strong for Hong Kong. So yeah, this is not a safe pick by any means. I mean, South Korea did get a very impressive scoreline on their second pick, so you gotta hope they keep riding that train. It's gonna be My Keyboard actually stepping in for the first time, and that's a swap that makes a lot of sense. My Keyboard has been very solid on aim.
Has been really solid on aim. This is their mechanics player too, and 260 BPM will certainly test that mechanic skill set, as mentioned prior. But Nomad 1, Send in Life, map by map bot, 260 BPM vertical, 1-2 jumps, and here we go. Nomad 1 starting off already. Nothing too crazy so far, but all of these players will be looking quite comfortable on this. Hopefully, Misha Ava finds a miss, though. The first one to break on the side of Hong Kong, and from all of these players so far in the lobby, but looking quite confident all of these players are.
So far, a decent start. It's only Misha missing in the intro. The accuracy is slightly better for Hong Kong, all things considered. A21 was still in the SS in this intro.
Yep.
Now, it's basically just slowly snowballing for South Korea with that early combo advantage, but the first guy is about to hit, and that's really going to be the decider for the combos. My Keyboard, the first one to miss. It's a double miss. It's a triple miss. It's only Amamiya getting through that pattern. And now the huge opportunity for Amamiya. He needs to carry this as far as he can. Still holding that jump, claims Alagrissimo, My Keyboard, Misha Awa. It's only A21 Max hitting this on the side of Hong Kong, and the 1-2s are hit so far. Oh my god, Amamiya misses on the last
almost did it as well. That was so close from Mamma Mia, but still 40,000 score difference. Did enough to put that score difference on the side of South Korea. Still, no combos on the side of basically anyone except for Max Burrow with that recovery. It will shift the score difference a little more towards the left as we speak, but so far, these patterns continue to hold on. They continue to appear in this map. They are everywhere. These vertical jumps are the defining factor of this map, and Max Burrow has been looking quite good so far on this lower section, slowly but surely trying his best to move his team, to get his team at that point, but he finds a miss though. Amamiya once again, oh no, never mind, does find a miss though on that transition, as Misha Ava will be the only one to hold. Still in advantage for South Korea, 60,000, still going more towards the right, but with Alagrissimo and My Keyboard finding chain misses, it might switch to Hong Kong, but still Amamiya, nobody is holding through those patterns. These 1-2s are just not sparing anyone.
It's on a nice edge right now, Lighting. Nobody finding any comfort whatsoever. Right now, the highest combo is on Max. And then matched by My Keyboard on the side of South Korea. It's a minuscule combo advantage. A bit larger now on the side of Hong Kong with My Keyboard finding that miss. At the break, they're going to see a 25k difference sliding anyone's game in the last quarter of this map.
Anyone's game. Still one last guy to settle everything. One last section ahead of us. 20,000 score difference, the score advantage on the side of Hong Kong. Albeit small, but My Keyboard does find a miss though. 10,000 score difference does shift more and more towards the left though, towards the side of Hong Kong, but still no misses to be found. The last guy is still there. A21, Max Burrow and Misha Ava will switch it towards the left though, but the miss is coming in. Misha Ava and A21 holds on. A21 though, and that is more than enough to switch this towards the side of Hong Kong. He will hold on. He will get this team another match point, not match point, sorry, break point to A21, hitting that ridiculous 1-2 pattern jump, looking to find a miss once more, but still 60,000 score difference is Hong Kong. Another break point to their side, and a 4-1 score difference favoring Hong Kong.
Last Ki almost FC'd by A21, the former skill cap legend on the side of Hong Kong, doing the job once again, years and years later. You love to see it. Almost 400k from Max Burrow as well. Really, it was a tug of war during the entire map, and right at the end, A21 snatching it from South Korea, despite the top score from Amamiya Kokoro, who got that really impressive early combo. Heartbreak for South Korea. The opportunity was definitely there. They definitely were good on this map. Hong Kong with the slightly better consistency and the star performance from Max Burrow throughout the entire map. And A21, that detrimental combo right at the end on the last Ki, man. You hate to see it for South Korea, but you definitely love to see it for Hong Kong. What a beautiful performance. And now, second break point.
Yep, second break point on the side of Hong Kong, and their pick to run away with this match, with this score lead so far, looking to get that 5th point on the board. That Nomad 1 was such a poetic map as well for A21. That player does specialize a lot in that skill set. We've seen him doing an amazing job back in 4WC. I don't remember which year. I think it was like a long time ago, back when they were 4-digit and they ranked up to 2-digit at some point, but still quite a story to be told on that side. But yeah, so far Hong Kong is still 4-1 lead, looking to get the 5th one, and we've been talking about that Hard Rock 1 for quite a while. Also, given that they also want that aim point on No Bot 1, you might want to continue going with that aim route. That No 1 is open, that HR 1 is open. You might even consider DT1 at this point. The mechanic's still untouched, but if anything, it's the closest one so far when it comes to the skill set. But we get a No Mod 2 instead, Subaru.
Oh my god. Oh my god. No Mod 2 between these two teams is going to be such a carnage to watch. Like, we're talking about over 4 minutes of 270 BPM streams. Like, wasn't this pulled in the perennial like 2 years back? Like this?
The funniest thing is that I think this map, not this map, diff lower, I think it was a Sanch KK's diff. It was pulled in last free WC, so this one is going to be a diff higher.
Oh my god.
And yeah, this is 270 shred, basically. You have to tap your fingers almost throughout the entirety of the map. No breaks for you. And honestly, all things considered, yes, this is a very difficult map, but still, it's very farmable for those who play that. But the thing is, though, is that both Hong Kong and South Korea, they are not relatively well known for their mechanics. And this is going to be quite an entertaining map to watch, because I would imagine that the highest score we will get is probably going to be 300,000. If more, that would be great. But I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, this is neither Hong Kong nor South Korea map. You love to see it from Hong Kong, the Chad move, but it's going to be a double tapping battle, basically. And on the side of South Korea, you do have players who are a bit more comfortable in the tapping. I'm thinking about Shipori and My Keyboard, most notably Shipori. And Amamiya is probably going to step in as well. We have seen Amamiya play most of the tapping maps this year for South Korea, double tapping like a champ, combo gaming like a champ. And also Zumari making his first entrance in this match.
Yeah, quite a key player when it comes to this skill set, too. If anyone gets a good score in this, it's probably going to be him on the side of Hong Kong.
Yeah, I think, yeah, you're going to see that tapping lineup from South Korea, Chipori, My Keyboard, Amamiya, Kokoro, but you gotta think Zumari is going to be the star player for Hong Kong on this one. Going to be the one to observe. Misha Awa staying in for this one is interesting. Misha is actually, I would argue, underrated on tapping, so I definitely love seeing this map being picked in this match. I don't expect anyone to be too comfortable on it, but we'll see how it goes. F2X also interesting presence. I mean, has been present for most of the mechanics for Hong Kong, so this intro already going to be pulling on the stamina strings. And this map is over 4 minutes long. This is going to be a hard-fought battle for both teams.
Yep, and a hard-fought battle is an understatement. You've seen that intro. Basically, the entire map is going to be sort of like this, with like a few exceptions, with like a section like this. But that being said, a miss from F2X on the aim part, as South Korea will retain the lead. But here comes the first batch of streams. Amamiya Kokoro finding a miss earlier on. Another miss to top it all off, but Zumari finds another trade as well. It's just Misha Ava to hold, but Shipori and My Keyboard with doubled FC as South Korea will retain the lead though, but those misses, those backdrops will make it a little more trivial as one might think.
Amamiya is already really struggling on the accuracy. So far, maintaining it above 90%. It's going to be a miss on the jumps from My Keyboard, and really couldn't afford this because Shipori and My Keyboard don't have exactly the highest accuracies, so you want to see those combos kind of hold. Now it's combo advantage for Hong Kong with that recovery on F2X, supporting the full combo on Misha Awa, and Shipori is now also gone, so all day, every day now, Hong Kong. Misha is going to trade. F2X going to miss. Nobody actually remaining in the lobby. It's just My Keyboard and Zumir with the tiny recoveries now battling it out. It is insanely close lighting once again.
It is insanely close. 16,000 score difference is on the side of Hong Kong. We'll go more and more towards the right as we speak, though, but more streams coming in. 18,000 and Ikiai on the board. Shipori finds a miss. Amamiya Kokoro as well. A bunch of 100s being dropped. The accuracy fully dead for the side of Amamiya Kokoro right here, which gives a huge edge towards Hong Kong as Zumari continues to hold on. Shipori yet another miss. It's only My Keyboard to hold on the side of South Korea as Zumari and F2X will try their best. F2X finds a lot of chain misses as well as just Zumri versus My Keyboard, 60,000 score difference. My Keyboard will be the one to fall, and who else other than Zumri? It's the player we've been hyping up for this map. He finds a miss though right after the streams ended, but the damage has been inflicted, the damage has been done, 75,000 score difference, which is still growing more and more towards the side of Hong Kong.
Yeah, it's the accuracy doing so much damage for South Korea right now. The damage has been limited by My Keyboard almost matching Zumure in that section. And it's now a tiny combo advantage on the back of Shipori and Amiya Kokoro, but it is still basically an advantage for Hong Kong as My Keyboard finds another miss, and it's 3 recovering combos on the side of Hong Kong, only 2 on the side of South Korea. And the biggest South Korean combo is gone. Shipori missing once again, and now once again F2X with the combo lead, Zumure also with the accuracy lead. This is looking better and better for Hong Kong as we go on in this map. Now 2/3 of the way through, it's going to be 100k difference and growing. Shipori finding another reset, and you start to see why Hong Kong is going for this.
You start to see that as indeed 100,000 score difference, a massive section when it comes to the stream and stamina tenacity. Still, the combos are there. Still, the accuracies are there to 140,000 score difference. Excuse me. Still, a quarter of the map left. Shipori finds a miss. Just Amiya Kokoro with the combo on the side of South Korea as Zumri, F2X, and Misha Ava are doing God's work on this Nomad 2. Still, the combos are there. The accuracy is so much better, especially from Zumri. The only player to hold an accuracy higher than 95%. The only player to hold an accuracy higher than 94, excuse me, as well. But finds a miss though. 180,000, still the accuracy and the combo advantage on the side of Hong Kong. As My Keyboard and Amiya Kokoro will try their best to try and come back into this, but Amiya Kokoro finds a miss.
Yeah, okay, he's gone now, but Amiya was combo gaming like a freaking champ. A 1.1k combo was mounted for Amiya Kokoro, but now even bigger combo advantage on the side of Hong Kong. Misha and F2X now with huge combos, and we're gonna see that Bancho miss on the side of My Keyboard, but F2X now with 1.6k combo, like,
oh
wow.
My God.
Misha Awa finally misses, but it's F2X now leading the charge, actually taking the top score in the lobby. Can he hold on to it until the end?
Indeed, 300,000 score on that player so far. Zumri also passing that barrier. They have 2 players with over 300,000 score, and with that, Hong Kong are looking to secure this map and get the 5th one on the board. A lot of misses coming in on the last stream, but it will not matter as Hong Kong will take the 5th one on the board. A couple of chain misses coming in, but still a good showing from F2X and Zumri on the side of Hong Kong, and a pretty good attempt on the side of South Korea when it comes to My Keyboard. But once again, Subaru, the lowest score on the side of Hong Kong is far higher than the highest one on the side of South Korea.
I think if the skill cap had been just a tad lower for the tapping requirement, South Korea could have made it a lot closer, definitely. You see Shipori and My Keyboard being not too far off in accuracy to the 2 lowest accuracies on Hong Kong. It's really just Zumure being the outlier, the only A rank in the lobby. Yeah, solid pick for Hong Kong, and now confirming that 2 breakpoint lead. South Korea really going to be starting to want to secure those picks and find solutions on Hong Kong's picks, which so far they have not been able to do whatsoever in that match. Unfortunately, Hong Kong just way too confident on their own picks. None of their picks have been close. And
indeed.
Yeah, you couldn't really afford to lose that Nomad 1 if you're rooting for South Korea. You still have that Nomad 4 open. You still have that Nomad 3 open. The solutions are definitely there. I think Hong Kong, on the other hand, is going to favor Hard Rock 1. Maybe Fremont 1 as well could be working well for them. DT1 you mentioned earlier could be a solution for Hong Kong as well. Yeah. It's looking pretty dire for South Korea, but if anyone knows how to consistently perform in 3WC, it's South Korea. Triple title holders now. A bit on the back foot in this match.
Right now too, yeah.
Yeah. Reigning champions for the past 3 years in a row. The only three-peat in the history of 3WC by South Korea, so this could be history in the making. This could be Hong Kong's grand return to the top 2.
Indeed. South Korea going with the Nomad 4, and that's probably the best option they have. Because if you were to go with Nomad 3, it has control, and we've seen how crazy Hong Kong were on those control maps. Hidden 1 and Fremont 2, just a good example, a good teaser of what would have happened on that Nomad 3. And this Nomad 4 is going to be a little more favorable towards the side of South Korea, I would think. Yes, Hong Kong can still play this relatively well, but it does play towards the strength of that South Korean roster. That slider tech, which is not really characteristic for the mapper. Bazuso doesn't really usually map slider tech. But this time around, it looks like it is indeed the map that they have made. A custom map as well on their end, so thank you for the custom map. But still, South Korea looking to try and come back into this match.
Match not over yet, indeed, and you know those South Korean players are really good at this. You know Amamiya Kokoro is a freaking beast on that kind of skill set. He's definitely going to be in for this one. On the side of Hong Kong, though, not out of solutions on this one. I think Max and Misha are given. Wondering who's going to be the third player on the side of Hong Kong for this one.
That's a good question. I mean, maybe A21. I have a feeling that they might want to play this.
I mean, realistically, it could be F2X as well.
Yes. It's either of those two when it comes to the third player. Looks like it's going to be F2X, most likely.
Let's see, Max. Sherbet is going to be stepping back in for this one, it looks like. I don't know if my keyboard is staying in for this one. We're seeing Misha... We're seeing Misha Max F2X on this one, so it is going to be F2X. Maybe the mechanics side of the map favoring a little bit more F2X. And Alagrissimo is going to be making a return. Obviously, you got to expect Alagrissimo Amamiya as a core for this one.
Yep, he is always in.
Yeah, we did see Sherbet struggle a bit on the skill cap earlier on the hidden one, so I hope it's not a similar issue for him on this one. No, actually, A21 is going to be taking the third slot.
Okay, makes sense then. Yeah, with that being said, Nomad 4 is going to be starting off relatively soon. A quite short map, 2 minutes and 21 seconds long, so any miss will matter a lot in that case, but still, think the gods, I'm nothing like you. Such an interesting song choice from the side of Mazuso. In general, Mazuso has some pretty interesting song choice in general. But that being said, it is time for this Nomad for CS 3.7 and OD9 as well. OD9 on this is interesting because it does open up more possibilities for potential note locks. But with this being slaughter heavy, I don't think this will happen, hopefully.
Hopefully not, but yeah, back against the wall for South Korea. Mistakes at this point of the match are unaffordable for them, so you gotta hope this pick does it for them and starts to mount a comeback, because it is looking pretty good so far. The double miss from Max Brio, Misha Awa, the core players on Hong Kong dropping, is going to be matched by only Alagrissimo so far. Those insane sliders making short work of the accuracies in the lobby. Amamiya, Alagrissimo, double miss. Now combo advantage firmly on the side of Hong Kong. It's only an intro, but the map is not the longest map in the world. You want to avoid those silly misses there, and Alagrissimo, Amamiya is starting to rebuild, but the score bar is shifting back towards the left. A21 and Sherbet still FCing. We were not really discussing them as the carries in this map, but so far the supporting players designated support are FCing this map. A21 finally drops. There's the opportunity for South Korea.
All eyes are on Sherbet to the one who will try and make his team come back into this match. Finds a miss though, but still, it's Alagrissimo and Amamiya Kokoro to hold. Those recoveries will be crucial for this. But on the other side, it's once again Max Barreau, 400 combo and counting. It's still going to be close. It's still anyone's game on this map. Still a third of the map left as well, but still it does go a little bit towards the right. But here comes another guy, more sliders, more slider six, some more crazy tech that is in this map so far. Max Barreau does find a miss though, and with that, Alagrissimo and Amamiya Kokoro have done probably enough to run away with this, still to hold on to their combos, almost identical combos too, as they continue shredding and destroying this map. Alagrissimo will be the first one to break out of the two, but I think the damage has been done, and South Korea will be taking the second point with this Nomad 4.
Job done for Alagrissimo and Amamiya, and now Sherbet also recovering, supporting Amamiya Kokoro. Currently besting any of the combos on Hong Kong. It's basically done, even with Sherbet finding that slider break. Too late in the map, too little too late for Hong Kong, as Amamiya is going to be securing a pretty insane combo towards the end. He finally finds a slider break, but not before securing 430k on this map. This might not look like a lot much, but this map pool is insanely difficult. Don't look at the star rating. This map is insanely hard. 440k for Amamiya Kokoro and an S rank for A21. Are you joking?
Wow. An S rank on this, in this economy, in this map pool? That's insane.
Yeah, insane performances on both sides, but this time South Korea, the stronger tech team. And you got to think that's surely starting to shift the mental a little bit, like Hong Kong are starting to feel the pressure a bit more of performing on their own picks, because the comfort picks are starting to be a little bit gone for Hong Kong now. You still have that aim pick in Hard Rock 1, but South Korea, not dead yet. Fight is not over.
The fight is not over. Still, Hong Kong 2 points away from that victory to face off against the United States once more. They can feel it in their grasp, but so far you need to find those 2 points. South Korea are not done yet. They still have the fight in them. But with the map pool slowly but surely getting a little more exhausted, Hong Kong still has a few really good options left for themselves. We've been mentioning that HR1, what it feels like the entirety of this match, we've been mentioning that PMOT 1 as well, so if anything, they might want to go for that, unless they might want to go with the control route that they've been so confident and so good in for the entirety of this match as well. You have that Nomad 3, and you have that Hidden 2 as well, which is going to be one of the more difficult and more interesting maps of the map pool. It's Squirrel Pascal's map, 2 minutes and 38 seconds with just constant BPM changes. It might show as 330, but this is mapped in 1-2 rhythms, so just divide it up by 2. And now you have an alt map with constant BPM changes, very funny sliders with high slider velocity in some cases, and you have a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, Allegrissimo does not look too pleased. We're pretty much going to have the designated hidden lineup on the side of South Korea. Allegrissimo, Amamiya, Sherbet. On the side of Hong Kong, you're definitely going to be looking at Misha for this one. You gotta think he's going to be the star performer for this one. A21 has also quietly been having a very good match, so I think this is a pretty solid pick for Hong Kong, all things considered, with the remaining maps. It would be very funny, by the way, to see Hong Kong winning both Hidden 1 and 2 after banning Hidden 3. That would be kind of silly. I mean, of course, very different skill sets, but still, the mods on paper didn't look as favored for Hong Kong as it ended up being. So it's going to be F2X, Max Biro, Misha Awa so far. Probably, I don't know if there's going to be a roster shift because I would have seen A21 for this one more than F2X. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be it.
Yeah. In general, when it comes to the mapping style, Squirrel Pascals does have a lot of bangers, a lot of, just in general, a very interesting mapping style too. I think OMDB is coming back. I think it came back already. So if anything, you might want to take a look at Squirrel Pascal's maps. In there, they're rated relatively high. But with that being said, the players are ready. Misha Awa, Max Bro, F2X on the side of Hong Kong's. Amamiya, Allegrissimo, and Sherbet on the side of South Korea. A very interesting and a very difficult map, all things considered. It's just a very, very difficult map and a very uncomfortable in some senses as well, with a few jump scare high SP sliders. So, if anything, I would not expect really, really high scores on this, but given how good Misha and Max were throughout this entire match, I will not be surprised if they pop off on this once again.
Yeah, I am eternally grateful towards the very first mapper who realized that Jazz was actually suitable for insanely difficult maps. So, here we go. And this intro already, accuracy is a bit down on the side of South Korea. Also on the side of F2X, but so far the intro doing short work of South Korea's combos and accuracies. It's an early advantage for Hong Kong. Traded misses from F2X and Sherbet. Lower accuracy still for South Korea. Recovery from Allegrissimo almost matching one of the FCs, still on Misha Awa and Max Brio. It's looking pretty good for Hong Kong so far.
Man, this song, it's so funny. Like, but yeah, so far, it's once again Misha Awa and Max Biro. Max Biro, Misha Awa, we'll find the misses.
Oh.
Amamiya Conqueror, wait a minute. This is a collab from Hong Kong. Amamiya Conqueror has the keys. He has the combo, and it will shift more towards the side of South Korea. This might have been a mistake, but Amamiya, all eyes are on him for now. 20,000 score difference still growing as Amamiya continues to hold on to that combo. Still looking so good. The rhythm is not throwing him off so far. 700 combo on his side and a 70,000 score difference as South Korea, through Amamiya's work, is running away with this.
Yeah, the problem is he's alone and Misha is recovering. And finally, the miss comes from Amamiya Kokoro. Now, wait a minute, Misha Awa. And the supporting combos on F2X and Max Brio are starting to bring this back on the side of Hong Kong. F2X didn't miss, but it's still Misha Awa with the highest combo in the lobby now, the highest accuracy as well. We did mention Misha as the star player to look at on this map, and he is proving it right now as the score bar slowly shifts back towards the left side. Misha and F2X double miss. Everyone misses on this section. What is happening? It's only 9,000 points difference. Anyone's game in the last third of the map. Chaos.
Indeed. But this map is a little more easier on the last third, so if anything, maybe a few combos will be held here Allegrismo and F2X trading misses here. 6,000 score difference. Amamiyo once again, another miss, 17,000. It's on the side of Hong Kong, sure, but with the combo, but it's matched by Misha Ava and Max Bro. It's 1 versus 2 so far. If those combos will fall for the side of Hong Kong, then maybe South Korea will have the edge. And Max Bro, the one to find the miss first. It's still anyone's game. It can still go towards the right, and it is going towards the right relatively slowly. Misha Ava finds, still holds the combo, but 5,000. Can it hold? Can it shift towards the right?
Oh
sure,
my
but you
God.
have everything. 2,000. It might shift. 1,000. It is shifting. Looks like the map is over. Sherpit is doing everything. Let's say every 100 is here. Every 100 matters here, but still Sherpit to hold on. And with that, South Korea will be snatching this point away from Hong Kong to come back into this match with the third point.
Sherbet with the combo when it mattered the most. The outro, Sherbet replicating what A21 did earlier on that Nomad 1, getting the late combo, making the difference after that huge effort from Amamiya Kokoro in the intro. Look at that 800 combo on this map. Are you joking? Misha Awa with the top score, not the highest combo, but by far the highest accuracy on this map. It was super close. Oh my god, what is happening in this match? And now finally breakpoint for South Korea, and maybe the start of something that could look like a comeback.
It might seem possible here, Subaru. It's looking really good here for South Korea. If you take your own point after this, it's only a 5-4. And suddenly you're back into the game. So if anything, we are back with this match. We have a match here, ladies and gentlemen. But with that being said, what is going to be the pick? And looks like South Korea have the same question because they are asking for a timeout. And it is a great opportunity for us to discuss what is going to be their pick, Subaru.
Yeah, great opportunity indeed. You look at that DT4, Allegrisimo is capable of performing Amamiya Kokoro as well and that kind of skill set, but you gotta think that Max Brio is looking scary on that map as well. You have that Nomad 3 still open. You have Fremod still open. Fremod 1 is definitely looking like a Hong Kong map, but perhaps Fremod 4?
Yeah, Fremont 4 is also a possibility. Night of Nights, Camellia's Once Upon a Night remix, quite techy. And if anything, maybe it might work for South Korea, if I recall correctly, but it's more of a mech tech, if anything. It's 188 BPM, and it's not as slider heavy as something like a Nomad 4. But out of all of these options that I'm looking at, Fremont 4 or Nomad 3 or possibly HR2 seem like a pretty good options in general. HR2 being Swing, which I think will be good for both Max Burrow and Misha. But once again, Swing is such a difficult skill set to predict, and I feel like both Allegrisimo and Amamiyo will be doing good on that HR2. So it's definitely a pretty difficult map, but it's still an option that could be there for SK.
Yeah, it's so chaotic, this match right now. And those close picks, man, like, you gotta stop doing that for my heart. And you're definitely going to be staying away from that DT1, that's for sure. DT1, Fremont 1 definitely look like strong Hong Kong picks as well as Hard Rock 1, so that let's decide between Nomad 3, Fremont 4, Hard Rock 2, DT4, basically. And I don't know, maybe Nomad 3 could be a solid option. On the Nomads so far, Hong Kong have been looking good in this match, but it was a superb performance on this side of South Korea for Nomad 4. Granted, different skill set, but still. The accuracies, however, have been looking consistently better on the side of Hong Kong, so that can come to matter on those hard maps where combo is hard to find. I don't know, Fremont 4, I feel, could be a solid pick.
I think I'm also agree with you on this.
South Korea has been a solid Fremont team throughout the entire tournament.
Yeah, it depends on how their locals are looking like, but if anything, I feel like Fremont 4 is probably the pick that I sympathize with the most. If anything, a close second would either be HR2 or Nomad 3. Nomad 3 is quite risky given that Hong Kong have been looking stellar on their control so far. But they go for HR2, they are going with that swing and that overall hard rock comfort too for some of their players. And this is a very risky pick, Subaru, but the one that can pay off so well.
I mean, we're definitely in the danger zone for this match. It was a 5-1 and suddenly, just like that, it's a 5-3 for Hong Kong. Still the advantage, still that one breakpoint ahead advantage for Hong Kong, but now South Korea wanting to regain a bit of momentum. 2 points in a row for them, finally finding a bit of their footing. They can't afford to fumble right now on that swing map, so I do agree this is a dangerous pick. It's basically a do-or-die situation. Won't be losing the match if they lose this pick, but it will be match point for Hong Kong on their own pick, so a very uncomfortable situation.
Very uncomfortable situation indeed. This is a custom map as well. Probably one of my favorite customs in this pool, considering that I also have one in DT1. But yeah, really good job on the side of Hugo Vlad, the mapper. Such a fun map, all things considered. But the swing element in this is quite difficult, as this entire map pool is. But with that, I feel like, if anything, both Hong Kong and South Korea can do well on these types of maps, but maybe South Korea will, considering that they picked this and that they do have some players for this, like for possibly Allegrisimo and maybe Amamiya, that they will be taking the point onto this map. But honestly, a very difficult task at hand, as I've seen both Chipori and Petit on this. No Allegrisimo nor Amamiya in sight for this map for now.
I mean, I think Allegrisimo is definitely going to play this, as well as Amamiya, so probably just warming up the seats right now. I do see Petit staying in for this one. Chipori is leaving the lobby. Perhaps Allegrisimo coming back, yeah, and so it's going to be Max, Misha, A21 for this one on the side of Hong Kong. That is a scary roster to go up against. You gotta think, though, I did mention accuracy on most maps being on the side of Hong Kong, but actually, if you look back on that earlier Hard Rock 3 pick, the accuracies were immaculate on the side of South Korea, so the Hard Rock accuracies did look good for them. It is going to be Petit instead of Tripori for this one. The style of map being radically different. You gotta think that's a roster swap that makes sense. But on the side of Hong Kong, those core players, just so scary to go up against, especially Max Brio on that type of map is going to be terrifying to face off against.
Indeed, and here we go. We have an X starting off from this map. Hopefully no more X's, no more misses will be found for these players. But still, a pretty good start, all things considered. Amamiya Kokoro does find a miss to accuracy, not looking good for Petit and Allegrisimo too. Everyone, aside from A21 in general, are struggling with that department, as Hong Kong will have an early advantage, but with that miss from Max Bro, it will shift towards South Korea slowly but surely.
Yeah, it's an early combo advantage for South Korea. Basically even right now on the score. It's flickering over and over. The accuracy so far is looking a little bit better on the side of South Korea, but it's really minuscule. Max Brio going to be finding another reset, and now the combo advantage a bit more handily in the favor of South Korea. Even more now with A21 finding a reset. It's just Misha against the full combo, and basically two full combos. Allegrisimo missing in the first 20 notes, and Amamiya with a solid recovery. And you're starting to see a way back for South Korea in that match, because this is looking pretty good for them.
Indeed, 100,000 score difference. A third of the map gone. It's just Misha to stand against this wall of South Korean combos so far. 150,000 still growing, by the way, as Hong Kong are in a huge deficit. The one that can be broken, as there's still half of the map left. But still, this is a very dangerous situation to be in. It's all on Misha for now. And if you are rooting for Hong Kong, you gotta hope for those misses from South Korea to come. But so far, they're not there. The second PI on the board, A21 with the miss. Allegrisimo and Petit, though, never mind, though. Look at those combos, all snapped in an instant. It's just Amamiya to hold with Misha Ava and Max Biro. The combo match on the side of Hong Kong. Still a difference of 180,000. Amamiya also misses. Oh no, it's Misha time.
Disaster for South Korea, full reset, and still Misha, it's still Max with the recovery, and Misha is not letting this go. Still the FC, 2/3 of the way through on this Hard Rock 2. What is happening? 50k and shrinking. Max Brio, Misha Awa still holding no recoveries on the side of South Korea for a long time in this map. This looks pretty good for them, but that double miss came from Allegrisimo Petit. Now another reset from Amamiya. It's going to shift over to Hong Kong. Max still holding, and Misha still FCing this map. What is this score lighting?
Oh my god, all eyes are on Misha. A21 finds a miss again. A lot of misses coming in from South Korea. Max Bro and Misha once again. This duo is gonna be a nightmare. So South Korea for the entirety of this week, maybe even more. Misha Awa still with that ridiculous FC, looking to secure the FC on this map, and looks like he will do that. Only a few patterns left. Max Bro as well, a ridiculous 900 combo as the map comes to its end, and Misha Awa finds an FC to earn his team first of all a break point, a match point, and an opportunity to finally end this match.
the 91.51% FC coming from Misha Awa. What a score. Probably score of the match, I have to say. From what we've seen so far, this is insane from Misha Awa and detrimental as it grants Hong Kong their first match point opportunity. But also the insane recovery on Max Barrio, but so heartbreak for South Korea. They were starting to make a comeback, but that's not a bad scoreline from South Korea. Triple 450k or above is more than enough to beat most teams on this map, but Hong Kong just not letting it go today. And man, that performance from Misha Awa. Yeah, you can only... Algrissimo saying he's crying right now. You can only cry when you see something like that. This is so unfair. Oh my god.
Yeah.
And that's now opportunity to close this out early for Hong Kong as they still have those aim picks open. Fremod 1, Hard Rock 1, DT 1.
Yeah, still a lot of maps left in here, and honestly, those out of these 3 maps, I feel like Fremod 1 probably going to be the closest, not the closest one, the best one for Hong Kong. DT1 could also be one of the better ones in general. It depends on whether Hong Kong would want to get some style points for picking Rainbow Dash like Skirls, or whether they want to go with something a little more safe on DT1. But that being said, still a match point for Hong Kong as South Korea are fretting. They are under the mercy of that team as Hong Kong will be deciding the color of that guillotine.
Yeah, it's such a good situation for Hong Kong right now. This is so hard for South Korea to imagine a comeback. They still have decent picks open. And even if South Korea were to find the breakpoint, they still have another of their own picks and another breakpoint behind that to secure. This is looking very hard to come back for South Korea. With that said, though, they did start something earlier, had 2 points in a row, so the momentum not entirely killed. I gotta think South Korea are still pretty much in this. Their mental has shown time and time again over the years, so it's not over yet. Match point, not over yet, but Hong Kong definitely in a bit of a favorable situation right now.
Yep. One mistake from South Korea and it is over. Your tournament life is out the window. We have a roll 2 coming in from Misha Awa, and that roll will decide which map they are going to pick by the looks of it. And we got a DT1. I mean, I would love to describe this map myself since I'm a mapper of this. But yeah, a DT1.
Surely you have a lot to say.
Yeah, I have a lot to say. So this is 249 BPM. The map is quite awkward. A lot of kick sliders in this map in general. Also very aimy, but also the mechanics on this are quite prevalent. Quite a few streams, especially with some accel decel motion in for some of them. Very awkward for a regular DT1. So a very interesting pick here. And once again, as I've said prior, Fremod 1 is for style points, DT1 is probably a little more safe for Hong Kong.
That said, on the side of South Korea, you do have players definitely capable of playing that kind of map. I'm thinking of Shipori and My Keyboard, for example. I think this is a good pick for Hong Kong. I don't think we're in that safe zone anymore for Hong Kong. For anyone, in fact, but those late picks are going to be so important. This is tournament lives on the line right now for South Korea. Hong Kong still with a bit of wiggle room if they were to find a fumble on this one. They still have another pick secured before we reach that tiebreaker. So still a long way to go for South Korea. It is 6-3. And man, this is tense. We've seen a couple of those insanely close points. I still have that Hidden 2 performance in mind. This was insane to watch.
Yeah, and so many individual pop-off moments. You had that HR2 score from Misha Awa. You had that ridiculous duel on Fremont 2. You had that on Hidden 1. Just so many iconic plays have been witnessed in this match, but still, it's still not over. South Korea are still on it, and as long as the dance goes, it might as well be something that South Korea will be holding on to. That DT1 is going to be their guillotine or something that they can use to try and come back and use as a weapon.
Yeah, you got to think this is looking pretty good for Hong Kong. Misha, Max, once again, F2X, the mechanic specialist basically for this one. Allegrisimo, Amamiya, Kokoro, Chipori, the core roster coming from South Korea to defend, possibly still defend their title, their triple title, for one more map. It's not over yet.
indeed. Here comes the start once again. The map is very awkward, so you might see a lot more of these patterns coming in. Still, Misha Ava, the first one to find the miss. South Korea still hold on to his side advantage, but Chipori finds a miss on those kick sliders. The map is very brutal when it comes to those, but a little bit of a break here. Algoritmo and Maxbro trading misses, just Amamiya and F2X with the combos. 1-2 patterns still. It's on the side of Hong Kong. 8,000 difference. Algoritmo finding a miss. It's on the Hong Kong side even more as the dust settles. Hong Kong are looking quite confident on this for now.
Discomfort on these patterns is apparent. F2X is going to be finally dropping the last FC for Hong Kong now. A bit of a solution. Triple miss from Hong Kong, actually. A bit more of an opportunity now for South Korea to come back. However, that break cannot amount the nerves. More for Amamiya Kokoro, the last FC remaining. There's a bit of support on Alagrisimo as well. A bit of a combo advantage now for South Korea. The 50s are drops on those longer streams. Still holding.
Still holding. Amamiya is still there with an FC. A bit of a slower section in here. Alagrisimo and Amamiya Kokoro with huge recoveries here. Chipori does find the miss, but still it all rests on Amamiya once again. The shake is evident. 130,000 score difference, more on the side of South Korea. Half of the map gone as we are transitioning more into the bursty section. Still, the combo is there. Alagrisimo and Amamiya Kokoro doing God's work, but he finds a miss in the middle of the map. It's a disaster here. Hong Kong with the recoveries. Maxbro to find a trade miss here. It's Misha and F2X to hold, with Alagrisimo trying to hold the advance. A bit of a slower section with the sliders coming up. 130,000. This is more than comeback. This is comeback worthy. This is still something that Hong Kong can come back from.
It's a bit of an advantage for Hong Kong on the combo. Double 600 Misha and F2X, and it's only a 400 on the side of Chipori to support that near 800 on Alagrisimo. It's a bit of a combo advantage, and they're going to see it. This last section decides everything. Amamiya, the first to drop, Chipori to follow. It's a double miss for South Korea. Just like that, Hong Kong with a huge opportunity to come back in this. Misha is going to trade one of them. That's going to stop the bleeding. Still an advantage for South Korea. It's shrinking slowly with Max Brio, slowly recovering. But I don't think it's going to be enough. Alagrisimo still holding like a champ, still holding on to their spot in this tournament. Amamiya is going to be playing this. It's shrinking 60k difference, 55k difference. We're hitting the last sections. Can South Korea survive one more map? Take this break point from Hong Kong. Alagrisimo misses!
Oh, wait a minute! No! There's no way! Oh my god, it was so close! F2X
so
only
close.
held on for longer. That was so close. 7.5 thousand score difference to South Korea. They are still alive to tell another story. They are still there. They're hanging on by a thread, but they are still here to make a statement that they are not gone. They will hold on to their championship title for as long as they can. And with that, South Korea get the 4th point on the board to deny Hong Kong their victory.
Oh my god. Literally, the misses on that very last burst from Max Barrio gave just enough wiggle room for South Korea to stay in this. Otherwise, that F2X combo was enough to bring it back. Man, I think I would appreciate it if Hong Kong took their timeout right now, because my heart rate definitely needs to slow a little after what we just saw. And I'm just commentating this match. How are these players still playing?
I know, right? I'm also nervous. Never mind the fact that they played my map. I was like double nervous because of that.
Oh yeah, well, your map definitely put up such a show. Oh my God. What did we just witness, man? Like, this was insane. And now, South Korea with their own pick to follow. You gotta think, surely that Nomad 3 is looking pretty good for them.
Yep, I feel like that Nomad 3 might look pretty good for them in general. I don't think they have a lot of options left, all things considered. That Nomad 4 is also there for South Korea, the one that we've talked for quite a bit during their previous timeout. So if anything, it's a choice between these two maps. Potentially, not potentially, this is their last pick. If they win this, it's going to be Hong Kong's pick, and then if South Korea wins that too, then it's going to be TB. So it's a very difficult situation here in general. But all things considered, you gotta think, considering that it's your final pick, and with the options left, they decide to go with Rainbow Dash Likes Girls.
Oh my god. South Korea is picking this one? I didn't expect that. I thought Hong Kong would be the one to choose that. What a map to pick in that tense situation, really. Classic of classics.
Well, not really. This is a modern version that was ranked last year. But yeah, still a classical song.
Yeah, I mean, it'll still hit the nostalgia strings for people who have been around a while.
Yes. AR9, very dense with hidden. awkward aim, very geometric as well, a lot of squares and a lot of geometrical patterns scattered throughout this entire map, with density being one of the factors here as well. 220 BPM to top it all off, so a little bit of a test on that side of things too. But in general, this is a very risky pick once more, Subaru.
I mean, that's basically been the definition of this match. Like, none of those picks, I mean, nearly none of those picks looked safe. The early Hong Kong picks definitely looked quite safe, especially that hidden one to start the match, but after that, it was basically chaos, and we are seeing another breakpoint from South Korea, so now suddenly hopes are back on the table for South Korea. It is now 6-4. They need to confirm this one. They need to get that point right now. It is still a do or die situation for South Korea. Not out of the woods just yet, but starting to mount a bit of a comeback. It was 5-1 a while ago. Now it's 6-4.
Yep, South Korea definitely with that momentum shift. If only they managed to hold on for a little longer on those HR2s, if only Misha and Max did not show such a pop-off there, then this might have been a different story, because South Korea, all things considered, they had such good scores on that HR2. So, with that being said, the rosters are ready for this map, this legendary song. Max Burrow, Misha Awa, and F2X on the side of Hong Kong. Amamiya Kakeru and Allegrismo and Petit for South Korea. 6-4 is the score for now. It may go towards Hong Kong as the final map, or it might be the start, or basically the continuation of a comeback that South Korea have been trying their best to do. And with that, the Fremont 1 starts off.
Petit going hidden hard rock for this one. And yeah, this is gonna be interesting to watch. No mod once again for Allegrismo. Petit taking that hard rock, adding the hidden this time. So mod advantage for South Korea for the first time of the match. F2X hard rock gonna be finding the early miss. Rated by Petit so far. The accuracies are looking a little bit better on the side of Hong Kong.
But still, Amamiya and Petit with their misses. Allegrismo, the only one with the combo on the side of South Korea, does hold on to that assess, but still, 2 FCs on the side of Hong Kong. Both Misha and Max Burrow, once again, that duo, F2X on a good recovery. 50,000 score difference coming in from this intro. A few misses coming in. Misha Awa does find a miss, though. But still, Hong Kong with a good advantage, good early advantage of 60,000 score.
That miss from Misha is going to help on this bit of a slower section, but it's still a combo advantage for Hong Kong, basically. And that lower accuracy on Petit is also damaging South Korea's score quite a bit. So, Allegrismo needs to hold. Max is matching so far. Not matching the accuracy, but the combo is there. And F2X with a splendid recovery on Hard Rock. And Petit with another reset now. This is not going to help South Korea by any means. The accuracy is also dropping on Allegrismo on those buzz slider section. Now, bit more of an advantage for Hong Kong. We did think this map would favor them a little bit more. Misha's gonna be finding a miss on those 1-2s, but it is still a combo advantage on Max and F2X.
The 80,000 score difference here. Max and Allegrismo still holding those FCs. F2X and Amamiya Kakeru battling it out with the hidden and a hard rock respectively. Another QI to come in. More squares, more triples.
Oh my god.
All geometry here. Petit finds a miss. Max Burrow.
Everyone misses on South Korea.
Everybody misses except for Misha Awa. Just Misha Awa to hold. But still 100,000 score difference on the side of Hong Kong. The church bells are ringing as Misha Awa continues to hold on through those ridiculous jumps as well. It might be over, but it's still not over yet. 110,000 score difference. It's still heavily favored towards the side on the left, but it might still be doable. But Max Burrow already with the smoke saying GG. It looking like a very difficult task for South Korea to come back from. Still a third of the map left. It's looking dire indeed.
Is looking more than dire. Misha finds a miss. Misha finds a miss. That might be it for South Korea though, but there is no combo, and F2X and Max Burrow are still matching those combos. You're going to be more misses in this final section. But Petit, it's a triple miss once again for South Korea, and that's disaster for them. F2X and Max Burrow once again with the opportunity. The squares are hit, and none of them wants to let this go. I think this opportunity is snowballing so far, and slowly spelling end of the match for Hong Kong. 7-4. Not quite over yet, but F2X is going to find the miss, but Max Burrow does not want to let this go.
Max Burrow does not want to let this go. Those triple misses coming in all the time from South Korea on this last KI. And with that, all chances for South Korea to witness themselves back in the grand finals match will be crushed. as Max Burrow and Misha Ava, that duo has been a disaster for South Korea throughout this entire match. One last slider, 250,000 score difference, and Hong Kong are back to get the second place guaranteed, in South Korea eliminated from this tournament. Hong Kong will be facing the United States in the grand finals.
You love to see it. I know it was not unanimous in the prediction streams calling that Hong Kong was back. Hong Kong is back for the first time since 2023, making it to a grand final in 3WC. And props to South Korea for securing another top 3. That bronze for them this year, a bit of a sour taste, but you gotta lose someday. They had been winning 3 years in a row. South Korea finally falling lower than first place. And it is still a third place secured for them after a seed 6. An immense losers bracket run for South Korea throughout this tournament. You love to see it. Lost their very first match and clawed their way all the way back to the podium. But this time, Hong Kong will be taking it 7-4 and now have a splendid rendezvous with the USA. Seed 1 had not been challenged in this tournament just yet, apart from those 2 points lost last week. But that was against a very diminished Hong Kong roster, and we've seen today what a full roster can do for Hong Kong. I am very excited to see this grand final between Hong Kong and USA.
Indeed, I'm hyped as well. Last time they did not have Misha Ava against the United States. With Misha Ava present, that duo, it's not just Max Burrow to dance. They also have a partner this time around, and with that, Hong Kong and the United States shapes up to be such an exciting match to see, which is scheduled, by the way, for 8:30 UTC tomorrow. So make sure to tune in to that match. But with that being said, this was such a great match to watch. This was such a great match to commentate. South Korea, sadly, their run, their dynasty in that case as well for 3WC will end as Hong Kong will be waiting for the juggernaut of this tournament so far. The United States are waiting for them. And unless you have any closing thoughts, Subaru, I think this might be wraps.
I just want to thank everybody for watching. Thank you for co-casting. Thank you, Tay, as well, for streaming. Streamers, not often mentioned, but the work is very much appreciated. Thanks to them, we get those insane matches. And man, this has been such a roller coaster. I think closing thoughts are going to be short for this one. I'm just hyped for the grand final. So thank you, Lighting, for co-casting this with me. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And we will see you for the final match of this 2026 edition of the 3-Digit World Cup.
Yep, we'll see you next time.